My name is Monica Wallace. I'm at Loyola University in New Orleans, College of Law. And the course I teach is family law. And actually at Loyola, we call it civil law of persons. And we call it that because we're a civil code jurisdiction. And so I'm teaching out of the code, the book called Of Persons. But it's really just a family law course. I focus on personality, marriage, divorce, custody, child support, and other related issues like tutorship and guardianship throughout that course. And it's a 3-hour course, upper level. 2 L's and 3 L's take the course, and it is tested on our bar exam. So we consider it a bar course in that sense to make sure the students are also ready for the bar exam. I began teaching this course about 11 years ago, and I taught it first using the problem set method. It's a number of problem sets with hypotheticals within each problem set hitting on all of the various topics that I teach. And there came a time when everyone started talking about experiential learning, and it was funny to me because I had taught a seminar class, not this doctrinal class, and I really wanted to get out in the public and have the students do representation. And we really needed to filter that through the clinic, and so I thought, how can I marry the two? Feel like, and through a simulation, that they're representing a litigant without having that full clinical experience. And so really, that's how the transformation began.
My name is Chrissy Cerniglia Brown, and I am the Coordinator of Skills and Experiential Learning at Loyola, New Orleans. My job title is really trying to help doctrinal professors incorporate experiential modules into their class. So this particular kind of evolution with Monica really came into being because she knew I was kind of new on campus with this new fancy title and was not quite sure what this meant or how I could help. But she had been thinking about incorporating some type of experience into our classroom. But I'll never forget one of her first statements was, "I'm not quite sure how to do this." And I'm really kind of scared by it. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. How will that work? And I said, just give me your syllabus. Let me study it. And then let me come back to you with some ideas. And I'll bounce those ideas off of you. And then you tell me what you think. And so from that moment when I knew that she was interested in it, it really became much like what we see in practice, this collaborative effort of drafting. And so we're really collaborating, but at all times, complete deference because it's her course. And so she makes the ultimate decision of what to include, what not to include.
And we started with a paragraph of a problem set about two parties getting divorced. And I gave it to her, and we met with practitioners, and we talked about some of the areas that we thought would best be done, and you ran with a lot of it.
Which was fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's a fun process because as soon as you're questioning yourself of whether or not this is going to work, you have practitioners coming in saying, yeah, that's exactly what we see. This is what we see in practice. And then you also have the scholar to say, we have to make sure that this theory is included. So I call it, and I have to call it this, the Holy Trinity, in the sense that you have all of these collaborative efforts coming together to make this incredible experience for the students. And we're seeing it, right? So you're seeing this level of engagement happening with students. Part of this goal was also creating assessment tools that I thought would be very useful, selfishly for me, but also really to engage us in the process of developing the modules the following year. So really having this kind of futuristic vision of how this can become better every year, like a fine wine. We can just keep tweaking and turning. We just have to start. And so we created this student feedback form at the end of the semester, evaluating every single module and really finding out whether or not students thought it was useful, whether they thought it was interesting, that kind of measured their level of engagement, whether they would prefer experiential modules in a course versus another course without experiential modules. So my one tip for anybody who is in this position and is somewhat struggling of really an identity of what we're supposed to be doing as an experiential dean or director or chair is to bring momentum. That's the first thing, is you have to bring enthusiasm, you have to bring confidence. Having a writing background and teaching writing and developing assignment sheets, I'm very confident that you have to be flexible and it's gonna work. And knowing exactly how to create assignment sheets and to explain the vision, those are really important tools to be able to kind of quell any anxiety that a professor might have. Also, focus on those who want to do this. Don't try to I would not recommend spending energy or time with professors who don't or are not interested in incorporating experiential modules. Really work with those who are interested, and then every year come back and figure out a way that you can make recommendations to make the module better.
And let me just say, too, don't go after those professors initially, but I have seen at our university that once I start talking about it to people who are skeptical of how am I going to teach all the doctrinal material and still do this, and when they say, well, you're doing what? And I say, no, I haven't cut anything out of my class. You know, what I'm doing is I'm teaching it in this context. And so there are people asking me now can you tell me how you did it? Who do I call? You know, and so I do think it will start, you know, a definite train of people jumping on because the energy's there. And I think the other thing that Chrissy is so good at is saying, let's start it and let's do it now. Next year, we can add emails from the client. Next year, we'll add a podcast. We're going to talk about some of our future plans. You know, we can look at developing it, but it's just like any course that you start. You start the course, it might not be perfect that first year you teach it, but it develops and it gets to be pretty darn good after you've seen some of the pitfalls. It's the same process to me with adding experiential. We have changed stuff because it didn't work perfectly, but the students still thought it was fantastic. So, I think the benefits far outweigh any concerns that can be worked out on the back end with momentum.
It's great. Do it. Just do it. See?